All right, I just finished this fireplace and it looks rad. But the reason I'm making this video is not to show off the fireplace, even though it was a bit of a pill. These tiles are like 5/16 of an inch thick, almost a full half inch, and they're 2 foot wide by 4 foot tall. And this fireplace overall is about 8 feet high by about 6 feet. But the real thing I want to show you is this valve. I just finished drilling the hole for the gas valve, and a couple of things that I wanted to share that could make your life a little bit easier. First of all, the right tool for the job is everything. That's a 1-inch diamond hole saw, and the reason I'm drilling the tile after the fact is because 1, it's a whole lot easier to do when it's wet. 2, you get a perfect bore. There's no gaps or weak spots in it, so it's perfectly solid, and you're not gonna get any thin set dripping out and you're having to mess with that. So it's a nice, clean, smooth hole. Secondly, you have to know where to drill. And before I did anything, one of the first things I did was mark the exact height, level, where the hole is on the center of that valve. And I marked 8 inches perfectly to the center of the valve, or I measured. So from that line, from this wall over, 8 inches is the center of the valve. And I did it once, drilled once, and as you can tell, let's see if I can get some light on there, I'm dead on. So that brings us to the next thing. If you're gonna cover up the valve and you're gonna cut the hole after the fact, you're gonna need to protect it. How these things screw on is there are actually some threads. Can't really see it that well, but there's threads on the inside of there where this finished piece will actually go in this hole and thread onto the valve itself. Nice and flat and perfect. This one has actually seen better days, and it doesn't go all the way. So we're gonna get another one. And obviously this key is too short because we went over existing river rock that was on there. And if you see any videos or pictures of the before and after, you'll see that. So before I do anything, I measure and then I protect those threads. I took a piece of cardboard, AKA a piece of blue tape roll, cut it down to size, and then taped it in place. And then I just went to town and I obviously taped over the front of it. And then I drilled into place, and this thing is gonna be stuck in there. So all I did to get it out was take my no-nose pliers, grab one end of it, and then twist it, and it'll actually suck it in, and then you can pull it out. And that brings me to the last point. This is a freshly grouted job. You can actually tell where the grout isn't 100% cured yet. You can see the dark and the light versus the light. So the last thing I want to do is use my diamond hole saw, especially when it cuts better with water wet versus dry, and throw a bunch of tile dust all over my freshly grouted light color grout. Now, you can only see the gray right now, but on the center of this tile, it's actually brown. So if I were to take brown dust and with water mixed in it and just fling it everywhere, it would make a mess and it would stain my grout. So what I have here is a piece of paper that I've taped directly under it, and it'll actually catch the majority of the dust. And I used 2 pieces of tape on either side. Now I could have brought those in closer, but I wanted some room to work so I could see. And it'll actually hit this and then kind of fall down. The best way to do it would be do a perfect square. But those are the tips, so that way you can make your job a little bit better, a little bit faster, and a little bit cleaner. And I just want to share that with you. You guys get to learn from my mistakes or my experience, or from the fact that I'm 3rd generation tile installer. So Gramps did it, Pops does it, did it, semi-retired. And then I got 2 brothers and a couple uncles and a couple cousins who are in the trade. And you betcha, over Thanksgiving and family get-togethers, we're talking about the tricks that we learn. So pro tip, Daniel out.